Imagine saving for years to buy your first home. You get pre-approved, and you offer asking price for a modest home. You've done everything right, only to lose the house to a corporation that already owns 81,000 homes. Your pre-approval means nothing to their cash offer, and it's 20% more. What chance do you really have? Large institutional investors now control 574,000 single-family homes across America, and they're projected to own 7.6 million homes by 2030. That's not a housing market. That's a corporate takeover designed to turn an entire generation into permanent renters. Leading this assault is Blackstone, the world's largest private equity firm, which just became America's third largest single-family landlord by acquiring 61,964 homes. And they're not done. While families get priced out of home ownership forever, Blackstone and other corporate landlords are systematically converting neighborhoods into rental farms, extracting billions in profits while destroying the American dream. This isn't market forces, this is economic warfare against working families. And it's happening right now in your neighborhood. Blackstone didn't just stumble into the housing market. They engineered a systematic takeover. In January 2024, Blackstone announced its $3.5 billion acquisition of Tricon Residential, adding to their existing Home Partners of America portfolio. Combined, Blackstone will control 61,964 single-family homes once the deal closes, making them the third largest corporate landlord in America, behind only Progress Residential with 83,502 homes and Invitation Homes with 81,716 homes. But their strategy has raised some eyebrows. In 2021, they bought Home Partners of America for $6 billion, 17,000 homes that were supposed to help families achieve home ownership through rent-to-own programs. A 2023 study found that fewer than one-third of families actually succeeded in purchasing their homes. The rest, permanent renters paying inflated rents as high as 31% above area averages to Blackstone. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Large institutional investors currently hold 574,000 single-family homes nationwide, representing about 5% of the rental market. But industry projections show this exploding to 7.6 million homes by 2030. That's a 1,300% increase in corporate control of American housing in less than a decade. The takeover is accelerating. In the second quarter of 2024 alone, all types of investors purchased 16.8% of all homes sold. That's 1 in 6 homes. Large institutional investors spent $43 billion, up 13.7% from the previous year, representing the largest increase in investor purchases since 2022. And here's how they rigged the game. 69% of investor purchases are made with cash, while families struggle with mortgage approvals and inspections. When Blackstone makes an all-cash offer 20% above asking price, families don't stand a chance. But Blackstone isn't alone. American Homes for Rent, Progress Residential, and dozens of other corporate landlords are all part of this coordinated assault on homeownership. Together, they're not just changing the housing market, they're monopolizing it. While institutional investors represent a small percentage nationally, they're systematically concentrating in specific markets, creating devastating local impacts. Atlanta has become ground zero for this corporate invasion. According to government data, institutional investors own 25% of Atlanta's single-family rental market, the highest concentration in the nation. In some neighborhoods, large operators control significant portions of available rental stock. Blackstone alone will own 11,144 homes in Atlanta once their acquisition's complete, more than many small cities have in total housing stock. The pattern is identical across the Sun Belt. According to the Urban Institute, institutional investors who own at least 1,000 homes have concentrated 45% of their holdings in just 6 markets: Atlanta, Phoenix, Dallas, Charlotte, Houston, and Tampa. These markets weren't chosen randomly. Corporate investors targeted Sun Belt cities because they offer rapid population growth, business-friendly environments with lower taxes, and strong job markets that attract young professionals and families seeking affordable alternatives to expensive coastal cities. The Government Accountability Office confirms the concentration is real and impactful. Their 2024 report found institutional investors own 25% of Atlanta's single-family rental market, 21% of Jacksonville's, 18% of Charlotte's, and 15% of Tampa's. In these concentrated markets, studies suggest institutional ownership may increase both rents and home purchase prices. But single-family homes are just the beginning. The same institutional players are simultaneously buying apartment complexes in these markets, creating comprehensive rental market control across multiple property types. The result? Tampa, Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta, and Charlotte are the top 5 metropolitan areas where rent burden has worsened since 2019. This isn't coincidence. When a small number of corporate players control large portions of local housing markets, they gain significant pricing power over both renters and potential homebuyers. Tampa saw rents increase 49% from 2019 to 2023, while private equity firms control nearly a quarter of all apartment units. This isn't market manipulation. It's market concentration. When institutional investors control significant portions of local housing markets, basic economic principles suggest they gain pricing power that individual landlords simply don't have. While Blackstone makes billions, families suffer under corporate landlord control, and the data exposes exactly how these companies exploit tenants. Let's start with Invitation Homes, the largest single-family rental company. In September 2024, they reached a $48 million settlement with the Federal Trade Commission for unfair and deceptive tactics, including hidden fees, unjustly withholding security deposits, and misleading families about eviction policies during the pandemic. But the real horror is in the eviction data. A Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta study found that Invitation Homes evicted 15% of its renters annually, while Starwood Waypoint, another corporate landlord, evicted 30%. Compare that to mom-and-pop landlords who research shows charge lower rents, impose fewer rent increases, and file for evictions significantly less often. Blackstone followed a similar pattern. During the pandemic, they maintained a voluntary eviction moratorium, but in late 2022, Blackstone's head of America's real estate said, at an internal meeting, there was a terrific future for their operations thanks partly to resuming evictions and seeing meaningful increase in economic occupancy. And here's how they coordinate to keep rents high. The Justice Department sued RealPage Inc. for an algorithmic pricing scheme that helps landlords coordinate rent increases. In Washington, D.C., over 30% of apartments use RealPage's software, with 60% of large buildings using the system to artificially inflate rents. The rent gouging is systematic. At San Valiente, a 604-unit apartment complex in Phoenix, Blackstone raised average rents by 31.5%, from $1,147 in 2020 to $1,508 in 2024. That's a larger increase than the 26% average for all apartments in the area. Research from Seattle confirms what families already know. Small-scale landlords charge lower rents, impose fewer rent increases, and evict tenants less than large corporate landlords. Corporate ownership doesn't improve housing. It destroys communities while extracting maximum profits. Here's the crucial part. This corporate housing heist can be stopped, but only if we act now. There are real solutions being fought for, and you can be part of stopping this generational theft. First, federal action. The End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act has been introduced in both the House and Senate. This bill would prevent private equity firms from owning single-family homes, forcing them to sell their massive portfolios back to families. Call your representatives and demand they support this legislation. States are fighting back too. California's AB 2584 prevents institutional investors that own more than 1,000 single-family homes from purchasing additional properties for conversion to rentals. It passed the Assembly floor and represents a model for other states to follow. But we need more than legislation. We need immediate local action. Cities can pass ordinances restricting corporate purchases of single-family homes. Some communities are implementing right of first refusal policies, giving local families the opportunity to match corporate offers before sales are completed. Others are imposing hefty taxes on non-resident corporate ownership. Local governments can strengthen code enforcement specifically targeting corporate landlords. Rental registries help track problem landlords and ensure corporate owners maintain properties properly. Just cause eviction policies make it harder for companies like Invitation Homes to evict families who are meeting their rental obligations. Tenant organizing is crucial. When corporate landlords control hundreds or thousands of units, individual complaints get ignored. But organized tenant unions can force corporate landlords to negotiate on maintenance, fees, and rent increases. Communities in Atlanta, Charlotte, and Phoenix are already organizing against corporate takeovers. In Atlanta, the Housing Justice League has a tenant working group fighting for renter power. In Charlotte, Action NC is organizing the North Carolina Tenants Union. Phoenix has the Valley Tenants Union organizing manufactured home residents and apartment tenants. Community land trusts offer a powerful tool to permanently remove land from speculation. These community-controlled organizations acquire land and sell homes to families at affordable prices while retaining ownership of the land, preventing future corporate acquisition. Here's what you can do immediately. Contact your representatives and demand they support the End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act. Push your state legislature to follow California's model and ban large corporate purchases. Attend city council meetings and demand local restrictions on corporate landlords. But remember, these companies spend millions on lobbying to maintain their advantages. Blackstone alone spent hundreds of thousands on federal lobbying in 2024 to influence housing policy. Most importantly, spread the word. Most Americans don't realize this corporate takeover is happening. Share this information with everyone you know. Post on social media. Talk to your neighbors. The more people understand what's happening, the stronger our resistance becomes. The question is whether we'll act fast enough, because right now, while you're watching this video, Blackstone and other corporate landlords are making cash offers on homes in your neighborhood. Every day we wait, more families lose their chance at home ownership forever. The American dream isn't dead, but it's under assault, and it's time to fight back. What's the most shocking thing you learned about Wall Street's housing takeover? Have you been outbid by corporate cash offers? Share your experiences in the comments. And if this investigation opened your eyes to how an entire generation is being robbed of home ownership, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started exposing the systems that are stealing from American families.